Well, it's major time again over here in the tennis world because we're in 2020. The whole world is going crazy and the schedule's all turned upside down. So we just had the US Open. Dominic Thiem won his first major like 2 weeks ago, and now we are at the French Open time. The draw came out today. We're going to break it down. It's a three-man race again at the majors. And I'm not talking about Federer, Nadal, Djokovic. I'm talking about Djokovic, Nadal, and Dominic Thiem. I'm going to break down their draw specifically, talk about the percentages of their chance of winning based on the Slice viewers' opinions. We're just going to get into the draw in general and the different crazy first-round matchups and all the craziness surrounding this year's French Open at Roland Garros. We're so excited, and I'm just happy to get a double dose of major time here in September this year, I guess.
So I don't have many bagels.
Welcome to the Slice.
Welcome to the Slice.
Welcome to the Slice.
Well, thanks for being here as always, folks. Thank you for subscribing and liking this video. As you know, we're on the road to 10,000 subscribers. We rolled over 9,000 just before last video, and since then, like 200 people have subscribed. So you guys are helping us out. Thank you. If you're new here, welcome. Just this is if you're a tennis fan, the Slice is where you need to be. You need to get around our stuff because we're all tennis fans here, myself and Beckett, bringing you the best coverage and news we can. And speaking of coverage, we got some French Open coverage because the draw came out today, and there's just so much to get into. Obviously, this year is another three-man race, as I said previously, and it's a race between Rafa Nadal, Djokovic, and Dominic Thiem to win this year's French Open. Because make no mistake, they are the clear top three favorites. If someone outside of those three won it, if someone outside of Djokovic and Nadal won it, I'd be pretty surprised. If it was Thiem, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. But if someone outside of those three, I'd be like mind blown. It'd be like, that is a massive, massive upset in some form or another. So we have no clue what's going to happen. Nadal has only played one tournament before this since March. Didn't look great. Lost to Diego Schwartzman, who played the match of his life. But he didn't look great. So does he have enough warm-up time to get going at this tournament? Djokovic did look great at Rome. He won Rome, so he's looking fantastic on clay. He didn't have the toughest competition there. So we'll see when it gets going into the Grand Slams, but he's obviously looking pretty good. There is line judges, though, at the tournament, so he does run the risk of defaulting and getting kicked out. We don't know. And Dominic Thiem, he's tired. Is he tired? Is he slightly injured after the U.S. Open? We don't really know. He's coming into this with no matches between the U.S. Open and the French Open, but he's historically, or the last couple of years, done extremely well here, making the final in 2019 and 2018. So we'll see how he is showing up on day one here. So let's look at their draws. But before that, let's get into what the viewers, thought on our poll that we put out on our YouTube channel. We had a couple hundred people tune in and give their votes. And these are the results from the Slice fan vote. We have for who's going to win the French Open on the men's side. We got Rafa Nadal, 40%. Right behind him, we got Djokovic at 38%. Then we have Dominic Thiem at 20%. And then we have, I said, anyone else, like the rest of the field, 2%. So you guys share the exact same opinion that I do, that it is definitely a three-man race. So let's get into their respective draws here, because that plays obviously a massive part in how this is going to go down. So I'm going to look at Nadal's first, just out of respect, because, he's won this thing 12 times. So in the first round, Nadal could play Gerasimov, not mentionable, basically. No disrespect, Gerasimov. Then Mackenzie McDonald, again, should not be any type of an issue. That's round two. And then round three, he could play friend of the show, Dan Evans, who's not necessarily brilliant on the clay, or hasn't been from what I've seen. But, always a tricky character. He's a fighter. He likes to get out there and play great tennis. He's one of the best players in the world, obviously. And then round four, he could play Fognini, who could be tough, obviously, on the clay. Fognini beat Nadal last year, I think it was in Monte Carlo, to win his first Masters 1000. In the quarterfinals, he could play Zverev, and then Thiem in the semifinals, and then Djokovic in the finals. So yes, Djokovic is in the top half as the number one seed. Nadal's in the bottom half as the number two seed. And then as the number three seed, Thiem is in the bottom half as well. So I'd say advantage Djokovic just from that. But in this draw for Nadal, it's not too bad, but I don't say it's a cakewalk either. So, Evans could be tricky theoretically if Nadal's really not playing well. And then Fognini could definitely be tricky. Zverev could obviously be really tough if he's playing super good. He does like to play on clay. And then Thiem obviously could be the toughest competition in the whole tournament for him. And then we got Djokovic. So if that is how it goes, he's going to have some, and he better be playing his best tennis by the time, the fourth round quarterfinals hits, or he could be in trouble. So we're going to see if Nadal can get his best tennis. That is the whole question for Nadal fans. And for anyone wondering if Nadal's going to catch Federer, if he's going to, because this is the chance he has to, the best chance he's had to get his 20th Grand Slam and match coronavirus, not actually, match Federer's record. So yeah, that's what's on the table for Rafa, catching Fed. But the question is, does he have enough steam to do it? So I don't know. Does anyone have any inside sources they've seen him practicing or anything? Let me know. But I think he'll be able to find it. You have to bet on Rafa being able to find it. Actually, though, Beckett Chung, producer at The Slice, he's a huge Nadal fan. He said he's not very confident. So we'll see. He said he's not looked good enough. He just doesn't have enough steam anymore. We're going to go to Djokovic next. Djokovic starts pretty easy. He's got Michael, I think his first name's Michael Ymer from Sweden. Then he's got Ricardus Brankas, who actually gave him a little bit of trouble in Cincinnati. Wouldn't expect the same in a major, but you never know. Then he's got Hubert Hurkacz possibly, and then he's got Khachanov or Christian Garin. They didn't say this on the list, but it's Christian Garin is a better clay court player than Khachanov. So I kind of expect him to be there. He could be slightly tough. He's won tournaments on the ATP on clay before. And then he could play Berrettini if he got there, Medvedev if Medvedev got to the semifinal, and then Nadal or Thiem in the final. So not as tough of a draw, obviously, on Djokovic's side. It's not saying that it's impossible, but there's definitely a high chance that Medvedev could lose before the semifinals, and then his route to the final would look like a 500 or a Masters Series tournament. So if you're a Djokovic fan, that's great for you. Playing none of the huge next-gen guys until the semifinals. He could play Medvedev or Tsitsipas in the semifinals. If Tsitsipas were to get to the semifinals, I think he could be a serious problem. But again, you should have serious problems in the semifinals. So another pretty peachy draw for Djokovic. So he's just going to have to avoid choking on any of these, younger guys, hitting any lines, people. The whole works. And he should be able to steer himself very deep in this tournament pretty easily. Obviously, a lot's on the line for him. Winning his 18th slam, that some would say he should have won in the U.S. at the U.S. Open. So if he doesn't win here, maybe it's like, holy crap, what was that karma like? Is this the Grand Slam curse going to start for Djokovic, even though it's only been one Grand Slam? Anyways, that's what's on the table for him, winning his 18th Grand Slam and winning every single major more than 2 times, which is crazy. I think only Roy Emerson and Rod Laver have done that, which is crazy. And then we got Dominic Thiem. We got Thiem. Thiem's draw will not cut this any other way than it needs to be. It is an absolute nightmare. Like, I literally mean Dominic Thiem could lose every single match that he should play here. Just going through it, we got Marian Cilic, ex-Grand Slam winner, in the first round. Now, this isn't as bad as it could be. Like, it's Cilic, so he's obviously last year in the 2018, he was in the finals of the Australian Open, and he was in the finals of Wimbledon the year before. But that's a fast court. This is a different story. I don't think he's been past the 4th round ever here at the French Open. Not exactly a clay court monster. And if Thiem's up to snuff, he should be no problem for him. But still, tough first round opponent, obviously. Then he could have Riley Opelka, the big boy, who's hungry, who has a massive serve, who can cause serious damage. Obviously can't move that well, especially on the clay probably. So shouldn't lose that match, but could. It could be like an Isner Nadal thing from back in the day. Then he's got Casper Ruud, who's honestly one of the hottest players in the world right now. He looks super good against Djokovic, gave him serious problems in Rome. That's not an easy. You don't like that matchup if you're a team. You don't love that in the 3rd round. And then could play Wawrinka or Murray if you were to get through in the 4th round, which, still I'm taking Thiem in both those matchups for sure right now, but not great matchups. Like, you don't want that. And then it could be Monfils, which honestly might be the easiest person in the draw for him just from the way he's been playing lately. And then Nadal in the semifinals, and then Djokovic in the final. So pretty much a nightmare draw for Dominic Thiem. If I feel like he will be ready. There's no real reason that he shouldn't. Yeah, he played all the way through a major for the first time. He won it. Well, he's played in the final a few other times, but he took the week off. I thought he might play Hamburg, which is going on right now, which has had some pretty interesting matches. He didn't. So he's taking the rest. He's been practicing, obviously. I think he's going to be, if there's anyone who could turn around from a tournament to tournament on the ATP right now, it's Dominic Thiem. So I'm trusting that he will. So out of the 3 top guys who I've talked about, I think their draws go like this in terms of difficulty. Dominic Thiem has the hardest for sure. And then I would have to say Rafa, tougher than Djokovic's, and then Djokovic's. No draw is easy. You're all playing professional tennis players. But if I'm looking at Novak Djokovic's draw, it's just I just cannot see him losing before the semifinals. Honestly, the toughest player might be Hubert Hurkacz, who has looked pretty good on clay. But I just really still can't see it. So we'll see. We don't know what's going to go on, but those are the draws of the big 3, the new big 3 without Federer in, because he's like basically he's going to be like a celebrity, just showing up to tournaments now in 2021 whenever he wants to. He might not even ever come back. We don't know. He might just ascend to heaven and just go into like the tennis heaven realm and just leave us all here. So we don't know. But some crazy first round matchups to look for before we go. We have Murray versus Wawrinka in the first round. So I think last year there was that crazy, or the last few slams, there's this crazy matchup of Dimitrov and Wawrinka in the first round a bunch of times. Wawrinka keeps, now that he doesn't have a seeding, he keeps getting these terrible draws. But he did win a challenger a couple weeks ago. So, he's looking mighty dangerous. Outside dark horse to win the French Open, you never know. You never know. Maybe he'll pull out those shorts from when he won back in 2015 and give Djokovic absolute nightmares. We don't know. That's a crazy first round matchup. And then, Thiem versus Cilic, like I talked about. Those are 2 of the ones that I would look for. But again, it's Grand Slam tennis. There's going to be so many matches that I want to watch. It's crazy. Now people are talking about I always like to bring up what's the easiest quarter? What's the soft quarter? It's the quarter of opportunity. I'd say Tsitsipas Medvedev, quarter 2 on the Djokovic half. Pretty, one of those 2 guys, if they can make it through, will be in the semifinals of a major, which is crazy for them. Obviously, Tsitsipas has never been to the semifinals. Medvedev's been to the final, but he hasn't looked good on clay, losing in the first round to my guy, Hugo Humbert in Hamburg. He was like trying to chop up. He was just pissed. It was like mentally weak. Medvedev came out all of a sudden and reared his head again. So we'll see how he can do at the French. People are saying he can't do anything at the French because he's never done anything at the French or on clay really. But he's also been only good on the scenes for like a year, if you can remember. Literally at the beginning of last year, 2019, Medvedev was like basically nobody. And then he came on tour and in March, you're like, wait, Medvedev's won the most amount of matches on the ATP. And then by the end of the year, you're like, is this guy the best player in the world? Most would say no, but he was, after the US Open, insanely hot. You cannot deny that. So, picks, my predictions for the US or for the French Open. If I had to pick anyone to win this, I'm not going to be disrespectful, blasphemous, or ridiculous. So I'm going to pick Rafa Nadal. I don't care what the circumstances are. Rafa Nadal has won the French Open 12 times. Those are words that shouldn't even fit in the same sentence. That's so many wins at a major that it doesn't even make sense. Like Federer's won Wimbledon 8 times, which is also mind-blowing. That's 30% more, 12, like I think, because I'm like a math genius, right? I'm a math professor. No, but 12 is just such a high number of any tournament to win, let alone a Grand Slam. So he owns this tournament. I'm never going to not pick him as the favorite before the tournament, even if he had the worst draw possible, which he doesn't this tournament. So I think he's going to find his level. If I had to put money on anyone, it would be him. I won't put money on anyone because I'm really not sure. Also don't have that much money, the grind life. But I'd pick Nadal because you just have to, or else that's pretty ridiculous. But the Slice fans say Djokovic is just slightly behind him and then Thiem. Again, if one of the guys outside Federer or Nadal, Djokovic, Thiem don't win it, I will be mind blown. So that's my picks. Those are my thoughts on the draw. Jump down in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts. And as always, thank you to our sponsors, Womo Sport. Get yourself Womo Sport. Look good. It's the best tennis clothing out there. Bear Mountain is one of our partners. We got a really cool video of me trying to learn how to slide on clay like Dominic Thiem. I almost died. It was the most exhausting thing I've ever done. So stay tuned for that. And Courtside Sports. If you have any gear, tennis gear that you need, use our code, get 10% off. You can get 10% off if you buy like 2 rackets, which is going to end up being a decent amount of money. So save yourself some, support our sponsors, support the show. Thank you for all the support. We love you guys. Thanks for subscribing. We'll see you in the comment section below.